Welcome back to another video on the channel. Before I get into today's video, I just want to quickly talk about the new tennis website that I've been building, and that is now live. On there, I'll be posting lots of articles, videos, interviews, polls, competitions. So if you do want to check any of that out, I will leave a link in the description below. So on to today's video, and this one's going to be all about Andy Murray. Unfortunately, as we all probably know by now, Andy tested positive for coronavirus before travelling to the Australian Open, which means that he won't be competing at next month's Grand Slam event. And he is now scheduled to play a challenger event in Biella of Italy in February, so I'm very interested to see how that goes. I just feel it's a massive shame for Andy that he has tested positive when he has. He'd been working very hard off court to prepare for this event. He's had success at Melbourne in the past. He's a very good hardcore player. And it would have just been interesting to see where Andy was in his recovery and how well he could have competed. But hopefully he has an injury-free 2021 and he'll be back competing in Melbourne next year. So recently I was on the Game of Love podcast. You can check out that episode on YouTube. I will leave a link in the description below. But on there I was asked if I thought Andy could challenge for major titles again and get inside the world's top 10. I answered no, and I just want to use this video to explain why I said that. So, Andy has taken British tennis to another level over the past 10 or so years. He'll go down as one of the greatest ever British sportsmen, and what he's achieved in this sport is quite remarkable. 2 Wimbledon titles, 2 Olympic golds, US Open, countless other titles, and also the world number 1. And in the toughest era of men's tennis, when you consider Novak Djokovic, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Stan Wawrinka, and many other brilliant players were at the top of their game at the same time as Andy Murray. Murray got to the very, very top of this sport. You know, he's world number 1, richly deserved, and I do believe that pre-injury Andy Murray was the best male tennis player in the world, and to get to that level takes incredible tennis, commitment and heart, and Andy Murray had all of that in abundance. And away from the court, perhaps more importantly, Andy's inspired thousands of children across Britain to play tennis. He set up a tennis management company, a tennis academy. He played a huge part in setting up the 2020 Battle of Brits event with his brother. His mum plays a huge part in junior British tennis, particularly on the women's side. So Andy's just about done it all on and off court. Now looking at Andy Murray's game, it was all about movement, defence, running down balls, fighting for every point. And if you're getting to the back end of tournaments, time after time, you're doing that for year after year, constantly pushing yourself to be better and better and striving for title after title, and to be the very best that you can be, that's always going to take its toll on the body. His heart and desire will always be there and take him very far. But my big question with Andy is, will his body be able to hold up? So the real problems started for Andy back in Wimbledon 2017, and things have never really been right since, consistently. He's had the surgeries, and I don't know if anybody else has watched the Resurface documentary on Amazon Prime, but if you have, I'm surprised that he's even made it back in court. You know, the rehabilitation that he's had to go through is quite incredible, and it just shows how much of a fighter and how much love for tennis that Andy has got. So since returning from his injuries, Murray's had some very good wins and performances, and that doesn't surprise me at all. We know Andy's still got the talent, he's still got the shots, that heart, the belief, and he's very capable of beating still the top players on his day. It looks to me like Andy can play very well and good solid tennis for a match or two, but then when facing a top 30 player and having a lack of recovery time, he can't quite produce his best, and that will cost him. To reach the top 10 and challenge for Grand Slams again, he'll need to get back to his peak fitness, play consistently very good tennis across a full year. And just from what I've seen from Andy over the past 3 years, that seems to be a very big ask in my opinion. A realistic goal for Andy, in my opinion, would be for him to get back inside the world's top 50, win a couple of ATP or even challenger events just to get that fitness back and confidence back in his game. And you know, if he can get to the 3rd, 4th round of Grand Slams, then I think that's a positive for Andy and an achievement in itself. At 33, I have no doubt that he still has the ability, the hunger and the mentality, because otherwise he wouldn't be trying to get back to the very top. But as I say, that question for me is that will his body allow him to compete at the top again? I don't think so personally. And I say that because the level of men's tennis at the moment is through the roof. You know, Nadal and Djokovic, they're still at the top of their games. Dominic Thiem's a recent Grand Slam champion and looking to go to that next level. Daniil Medvedev and Sasha Zverev have recently got the Grand Slam finals. Stefanos Tsitsipas is coming through all the time alongside Felix Auger-Aliassime, Denis Shapovalov. Players like Diego Schwartzman, Kei Nishikori, David Goffin have got years and Andy Murray, and there's always young players coming through. So the level of men's tennis at the moment at the top is very, very high, and they all produce the top tennis consistently, which is what Murray used to do, but I'm not sure we can do again. So Murray used to have immense fitness, defence, athleticism, and although he still has the shots and that fighting spirit, I don't think he'd be able to come through marathon matches and recover in time for another marathon match a couple of days later. Grand Slams are so tough physically, you know, and I can't see Murray getting enough recovery time in between matches to keep performing his best. You know, to win 7 best of 5 set matches in a row takes immense fitness, quality and fighting spirit, and you know, Andy used to have all of that, and you know, I'm sure he's still got some of those things, but has he got the ability to put them all together in one tournament? I'm not so sure. I would love to be proved wrong. You know, whatever happens to Andy Murray now, he's been an absolute star in British tennis. He'll go down in history, and I said at the start of the video, most importantly, he's inspired thousands of children to pick up a tennis racket in Britain. So whoever comes through now in the next generation, whether that's people like Emma Raducanu, Jack Draper, or even players younger, I'm sure they've all looked up to Andy Murray at some point of his career and taken inspiration from that. So yeah, in my opinion, I don't think Andy Murray will ever get to the semi-final final of a Grand Slam again. I don't think he'll ever get inside the world's top 10 again. I think top 50 for Andy, and you know, winning some ATP events would be a success. But as I said at the end there, I would love to see Andy prove me wrong. I would love to see nothing more than Andy competing for Grand Slam titles again. And if it comes down to fighting spirit, heart and mental stability, then Andy could well do it. But in my opinion, I think, yeah, Andy's had his best years in the sport, and I just hope he comes back and gets to play in Wimbledon again in front of a full centre court. That would be brilliant next year if he could do that. But do leave your comments and opinions in the comment section below. I do always enjoy watching those. My Australian Open preview and prediction videos are on the channel as well for the men's and women's if you do want to check them out. Thanks for watching another video, and I will see you on the next one.